Hi all, the future is Nurture. Here at Nurture, our team consists of me, James Lee.
I'm Ryan, the COO.
I'm Natalie, the CMO.
I'm Ziki, the CIO.
And I'm Ava, the CFO.
And I'm the CEO. And moving on to our problem, what are we trying to solve? Well, it is the economic depression that we faced recently. With the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 8, economic growth has seen a major slowdown. More than 400,000 small businesses have closed in the first 3 months, according to the Wall Street Journal. Now, why is this important? Well, small businesses account for 44% of the economy in the United States, and thus it is integral to economic growth. And with the close down of more than 400,000 small businesses, it has taken a large economic toll. In fact, if we see this infographic here, we have seen a 0.5 slowdown in the GDP per capita growth globally, and this does not account for the pandemic and other economic trends.
So I'm going to talk about what influenced us. Our idea is influenced by the recent hate crimes targeting the Asian population. Many Asian American-owned businesses have gotten fewer and fewer customers due to the widespread fear of being victims of hate crimes themselves. We aim to help them assuage those fears and help them lift up their businesses. Another factor that influenced us is the tremendous job loss and the lack of income for many people due to the COVID pandemic. Our research estimated that over 400,000 businesses closed down during the time. Speaking from personal experience, I remember my family and I have found it very difficult running our real estate business because our constructions were forced to suspend and the price of materials and holding costs are increasing significantly for us, which caused our company to be on the brink of bankruptcy. This is not an isolated story. Many people shared a similar experience as us. According to our research, nearly 90% of small Asian American firms lost revenue last year. During these challenging times, our hearts go out to the communities, families, and businesses.
So after our experience with the pandemic and how that has affected our community, we came up with the solution Nurture. Nurture is a platform that allows small businesses to advertise and market their product or service. We promote local culture and products as it prompts the exposure of local businesses, which is what makes New York City so diverse. So why choose Nurture? Well, we specifically promote small businesses in New York City. How many times have you caught yourself choosing a chain restaurant over a local one just because you're more familiar with it? Because I know I have. As people continue to choose these popular brands, this ends up leaving smaller businesses undiscovered. And so what Nurture does is it evens out this playing field by building a community of just small businesses. Small businesses will also be able to reach out to more customers through a digital presence on our site. Oftentimes, businesses in minority districts do not have an online presence, and Nurture can act as a gateway for these businesses into the digital world. Nurture will also help alleviate damage done to small businesses by the pandemic. Last year, 600,000 jobs were lost in New York City, and that's a 42% decline in small businesses. By creating a network of existing small businesses through Nurture, we will help them get the publicity they've been lacking, which can compensate for the loss of customers from the pandemic. Lastly, we have people who would use our platform. 74.5% of respondents from our survey demonstrated strong interest and/or would use Nurture.
So how will we help these small businesses? By providing physical and hands-on help and consequently creating new connections between businesses and their potential new customers, we hope to ease these businesses back to their pre-COVID form and eventually help grow even more. With the expanded outreach we can help provide to those who have suffered, we also hope that it will attract both businesses and customers in our own Asian American neighborhoods. Additionally, helping calm some of the fears of our community.
So moving into the specific features of our website, there will be a catalog of small businesses where they can set up their own profile. User interaction will be through business recommendations users can make, something that was highly suggested in our survey, so we decided to include. They can also form groups where they can connect and learn about new businesses. There will be an interactive map, and we will highlight a new business every week.
Okay, so who are our competition? Some companies that are doing something similar to what we are trying to do are Yelp, Foursquare, and just general social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. These companies display a catalog of businesses and provide a place where they can market themselves. In the beginning, we had trouble differentiating ourselves from these other platforms. But as we did more research on the COVID-19 pandemic and more recent events, we found our niche, Asian American businesses, and more generally, minority-owned business. As you can see in the chart on the right, like I said, we provide hands-on help and specialize in local businesses. Whereas Yelp, who seem like our biggest competitor right now, doesn't have the strength that we have. While we both have the ability for businesses to create personal accounts and provide adequate business to customer interaction, we also have business to business interaction, which can help us achieve our goal of a network of customers and local small businesses. And finally, because of our hands-on help, we also consider companies like HubSpot and Salesmanago as our competition as well.
Thank you, Ryan, for that beautiful competitive analysis. On to our expert advice. We talked with Tony Forte, who is a successful entrepreneur who owns more than around 10 small businesses, and he encouraged digital marketing in our Zoom call, which is what we, Nurture, specialize in. He said that there was a level of gold to digital marketing, and that Nurture can tap into that mass awareness and mass connection that digital marketing can offer. Moreover, we also have had previous judges give us advice, and we've incorporated that into our presentation and into Nurture.
And now moving on to the finances. So as a general overview, our budget will be spent mainly on maintaining our website's domain and website on Wix, and our revenue will consist of mostly premium system with varying levels of marketing services offered at different plans. So our most basic plan will be our free plan, and that will allow the business owner to run their own profile and make their own weekly posts. The next level will be premium, which will be $20, and that will include us who run the platform to maintain their profile for them. And premium plus will be $30, which will include everything I mentioned before, as well as additional marketing services outside of our platform, such as Google Ads or Facebook ads. And some add-ons we want to include are extra posts and photography, which will each have their own fixed rate. And we also hope to gain some ad revenue from businesses who want to advertise their business on our platform. So our budget will mostly be spent on our Wix domain and hosting it, which will be around $108 per year. We also want to invest in freelance digital marketing consultants and digital designers, which will be around $100 and $15 per hour, respectively. And from the graph, you can see that we have, after all our expenses, we have $100 backup money, and we plan to use this for our future plans, such as app development. So the question is, are we sustainable? And the answer to that is, once we've calculated our expenses, we realized that we are only spending $623 per year. So based on our calculations, we would only need 10 premium plus users and 15 premium users in order to
2 minutes left.
In order to make up for all of our expenses each year. So yes, we are sustainable.
And thank you. First off, I just want to say thank you to all my group members for an amazing explanation of our platform. And I just wanted to sum it all up. So our platform is one where we aim to help small businesses who may not have a strong online presence or one at all gain one. We are trying to create connections between local small businesses and potential customers. And we hope that it will grow into a network of connections between these customers and various small businesses. That will be mutually beneficial towards both groups. Through these potential new customers, we can stimulate the economy and provide a fix to UN's SDG 8 in our own neighborhoods.
Thank you, Ryan. Moving on to our vision or our future endeavors. So we will continue hands-on development with small businesses in our local area, which creates a strong relevance, especially in our New York City community. And we can do this by hiring students, which can be volunteering or paid, and using expert advice as well from our consultants as described in the budget. And thus we will deepen and extend our reach into more underrepresented small businesses, as Ryan mentioned previously, and we will stay true to our diversity and growth mindset. And as Ava mentioned in the budget, with our backup money, we will use that to expand into a mobile application for greater accessibility for users and for a more connected and cohesive community, because let's be honest, we all carry our cell phones 24/7 and we're addicted to them, most of us.
30 seconds.
And thus, lastly, we invest, we are investing in the next generation of entrepreneurs, which starts with us, and we will expand that reach to small business owners and our peers. And lastly, for our closing statements, join us because the future is nurture. Thank you so much, and we'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. The floor is now open for judges' questions.
I just wanted to comment on the presentation style. I found it very accessible and really compelling to hear how your model is also impacted by your lived experiences and that of your family. So I think, as you continue to refine your pitch, make sure you always keep a narrative that really can connect your story with your proposition. I think that you guys have spent a lot of time fleshing out all the different elements of how your model will be successful. I think for me, my biggest takeaway was that you really lean forward into making sure the importance of what you're doing is felt. I also think that any way you can connect a small, probably family-owned business to anything digital, even in a small way, can help them in ways they might not realize. So I think that that's also a great feature of what you're offering.
I would tend to agree that sort of connecting small local businesses to the internet, and having the community be able to comment and sort of rank them at some point in time, which I think would be great, so that they could people could see exactly where the top places and the top service organizations to use. I thought that it was something that's definitely needed. I think that being focused on minority businesses and having a platform that people can search through minority businesses in general, I think would be very helpful. And I guess the question as far as scaling this model, and I know that having a budget of $600 a year, and I know there's a lot once you develop this online platform, there's probably a lot more to maintaining it as you start to grow it. Is that something that you guys do yourself now? Is there one person that sort of maintains that application, or where is it hosted? Do you host it, through a service, or at this time?
Yeah, I can take that. So right now we're hosting it specifically on Wix. We're planning to use some of the budget money to buy a premium membership and to further develop our site on there. And right now we have 2 people, or like our whole group is involved in developing the website because we all share ideas on that. Mm-hmm. And that's how we basically manage our platform.
Okay, thank you.
I think Peter, were you finished?
Yes, I'm finished.
So,
thank you.
As I watched your presentation, I was very impressed. Your presentation is a lot more polished than some others that I've seen as a vice president at an 85,000 person bank. So kudos to you guys. One of the things that I will say, as Peter mentioned, your budget is very, very low. So that means you guys are going to be very labor intensive. Hold on for 1 second. It's going to be very labor intensive for you guys. As you continue to grow, you're going to need to look at building out APIs as you're trying to link to other small business websites. And you're going to have to worry about Wix throttling. As you build your mobile platform, you're going to have to worry about all the different challenges that it comes from and all the expenses that come from developing a mobile application. So that's something that you guys should start considering. And as you're building your website, looking at the APIs and microservices that you may include that Wix may give you with an eye on growth. as opposed to let's just get this up and running now and get it working. That's the tech sourcing me just telling you to look forward. You have a great presentation, you have a great business model, and the sky's the limit for something like this. And I think it's a very viable and valid presentation and business plan. So just think about that as you look to scale and grow.
Yeah, the other point that I wanted to make, that I think that, you know, focusing on trying to get those folks that typically aren't involved in the traditional digital, you know, sort of marketplace as additional consumers, being additional eyeballs, that, you know, that's sort of where I think from a revenue standpoint and revenue potential, you know, if your solution brings additional people in, and that folks that like to advertise, that are advertising their products, that you could advertise through your platform, you know, that's really where you're going to create some value in what you're doing and going forward. And in addition to helping the small businesses, of course, but I think that you know, those people that use those small businesses, you know, having to be able to say, I've got these folks using my platform that typically, you know, aren't using Yelp or using something else. So I think it's a very good idea, though.
Thank you so much, judges.